1500 AM. I am Joe Vagnone, and this is Local Biz Now. And if it is Local Biz Now, your business matters. And every month we have a co-host for the entire month. This month is no exception. We have my friend, whether he will admit it or not, Chuck Cooper. Chuck is the founder of Whitewater Consulting and the author of Unprecedented. Over the last month, we've really gone over the book pretty good, buddy, but I'm holding it up for those of you that are on the book and on the tubes. We recommend that if you've got a small business, getting Chuck's book to talk about HR issues. He is the master. We've been talking with him the entire month. Chuck, thank you so much for being here, buddy. We appreciate it.
It's great to be with you, and happy Monday.
Thank you, sir. You know, you and I talked about moving this show to a Monday. It is a completely different feel than what I used to do on Friday. So at Friday, they really weren't ready to think about business because they're ready to think about the weekend. Now we can prep them and get them ready for the new week. And you're the perfect co-host because you can help me do that.
Absolutely.
We have the most spectacular guest that's going to be on a little bit. I am so excited to bring her on, but that's just a little teaser. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm going to wait till I do my intro. I've been practicing my intro. She deserves a spectacular one. That being the case, I noticed, because you know you're supposed to bring something every week as my co-host. You just can't come popping up in here and think you're going to get all the pleasures of the co-host without doing something to be here. What did you bring me to talk about?
You know, that's a great question. And so the thing that has really been surprising to me, we have had so many conversations over the last year and a half on from small business owners focusing in on leadership and manager training and being able to build a culture that really promotes trust. And yet, when I look back at the month of January so far, we've gotten 4 new clients in the month that are all focused on the specific area of building trust. And so I just really wanted to kind of take a blog that was written a few months ago and really highlight just a couple of areas. Obviously, when you're thinking about building trust within your organization, whether you're the business owner or whether you're a manager, it's all about the communication. How do we communicate? When do we communicate? What's the tone that we communicate? All of those things. But it's also about the listening aspect of it as well. And so I think that, you know, when you look at employees today, I was just looking at a report over the weekend. The person that's working in your organization today, they would like to have feedback every 2 weeks.
That's the number, every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. And so we have gone for how many decades have we gone for our annual our reviews are done annually?
Because, you know, Julie's been with me probably going on 10 years, and I don't know why I need to tell her a darn thing, because she wouldn't be here tomorrow if I didn't think she was exceptional today, right? But you're saying maybe I need to do a little check mark and tell her how exceptional I think she is.
If we can just have one meaningful conversation with our employee each week, it has a significant impact on lowering your turnover rate, and it also has a significant impact on employee engagement. So,
you know why I realize people don't like doing that? They're afraid they're going to make a mistake in the conversation. I've got a good staff member. They're doing a nice job. Last thing I want to do is mess it up. But do you find that to be the case, or you think I'm on left field?
I think that there are some situations where they don't know. I think we don't know how to have the conversation, whether it's in a positive way or in a negative way. And I think that's one thing, the reason that communication is such an important piece to the development that we're providing to our clients today, is helping our people to actually know how to have the conversation, how to give feedback.
Right. That's something I've always been really good at, is over communicating when I'm bringing on a new staff member, a new employee. I want to make sure they get it, they understand it. Then once they do, I like to leave them alone, and I'm not the guy that would have a 2-week conversation.
Well, you know, that's interesting that you mentioned that, because the third thing on the list is really about what you hire, then you train and develop, but then you trust and you empower.
Right.
And so that comes back to, you bring them on, you get them plugged in, and you give them the autonomy to be able to go and do their work.
So you're saying I might have a little something going on?
You've got something going on, absolutely. That in a good way.
What else you got?
Yeah, I think, again, when you're looking at building trust today, not only is communication important, but it's also really important about again, we talk a lot about the mission, vision, values, but as a leader, as a manager, it's all about leading by example. So I take the algorithm that Gary Ridge, who's the ex-chairman of WD-40, says. He says, if you take your values plus your actions times length of time, that will develop your culture. And that basically is really important to a company and to leaders today, is to be able to lead consistently and make decisions with actions to support those values.
You know, we've talked about this before. So many business people, they don't realize they're creating a culture. It's not on purpose, right? You understand
That's
that, right?
Very true.
And they could have something positive, but they really don't know what they're building. They would not know until they spoke to their employees what they actually thought.
That is so true. And that one question of when you were, as over the weekend, for example, you're talking to your neighbor and your neighbor asks, what's it like working at your company? That the question that your employee gives in that situation is the definition of what your culture is.
Right.
So I think that's something that, a lot of times we don't focus on paying real attention to what that culture is going to be. We just kind of let it happen. Oftentimes it is the salespeople, a lot of times, that have the best personalities and maybe the biggest personality. They have the greatest impact on the culture of the company. So we have to take a step back from that and really define what we want that culture and what we want those values to be and what the actions are to support those values.
We've only got about a minute and a half.
Okay.
What else you got?
So I think the fourth thing is really the support and development. So we look at bringing somebody in, getting them plugged into your company, letting them do their work, but then we also create a career path so they have clarity on what the next opportunity that they may have within your organization.
Right.
The last thing, it says work-life balance. I've gone away from that phrase today to simply one that is balance. Those go together.
Balance. Got it. So, Chuck, for people that don't know what Whitewater Consulting is, how can they reach you, buddy, and find that out?
So the best way to call out, so you can find us on the website, which is whitewaterconsulting.net, and my phone is 704-236-3131.
Great. And we are live on the book, live on the tubes, live on X. I expect you to get there, get ready. We'll be taking questions because we got a spectacular guest coming. And no, Patrick Reynolds is making fun of me because I have not had a detailed conversation with Julie in 10 years. What I got to talk about? She's spectacular. She's exceptional.
I will attest to that. She is.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. If it's Monday afternoon, your business matters. We're going to be right back with a spectacular guest. Don't go away.
We'll return to
All right,
Local
Cloe,
Biz
if you
Now
didn't like that, you can
entrepreneur
stop. You
Joe
can
Vagnone
close
in
it up
just
right
a
now.
moment on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, after a chilly weekend, we're finally going to turn the page into a new chapter and a pretty quick warm-up.
Okay.
On the way this week, a partly sunny sky today.
You know,
temperatures about 10 degrees warmer than
every
yesterday.
week Julie puts
It'll
up
feel
your
a whole lot better
Whitewater
outside. Highs in the mid
Consulting.
and upper 40s this
She
afternoon.
gives you
That
the
warm-up
nice
will
website and
continue.
information.
On the way by midweek,
And
even
I know that
60s
picture
on
got
the
to
way
be
by
30
Thursday
years
and
old.
Friday. A weather pattern with a chance for
The
showers.
one of
to
you
begin
with
the
the
week.
beard and
Set
the
up. That's your
mustache.
forecast from the WSIC
That can't be me.
Weather Center. I'm meteorologist.
I got to take a look at that website.
Julie, that's not his website. You're putting up somebody else's website.
Yes.
WSIC Community Calendar. Merlefest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College. Featuring nearly 100 performers, including
Okay,
Old
Chloe, you
Crow
ready to go?
Mexico, Turnpike Troubadours,
All
the
right.
Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets
I'd
and
love to tell you
information
exactly
can
how
be
much
found at
time we got, but I
merlefest.org.
can't understand
Listen
this
each
board. I
morning
got
to
no
Good
idea
Morning
what they're doing.
LPN for your
I've been
chance
doing
to
this
win
for
tickets.
10 years. I still can't figure it out.
Want to attend the Greater
Coming up on
Charlotte
90
Home
seconds.
and Landscape Show? How about the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each show gives you your
We
chance
got
to
a
win. The
real
Greater Charlotte Home and Garden Show.
Kardashian
February
in the
23rd
house.
Oh, my
through
goodness.
the 25th. The Charlotte Home and
What are
Remodeling
you doing
Show.
here, man? You got your
January
show to do.
26th through the 28th.
Oh, I thought you did it.
Mooresville's Parks and Recreation is excited to bring The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner
All right.
to the Charles Mack Citizen
I like
Center,
that.
Saturday, February 10th.
I like that.
This is not your usual.
I might stay in the seat a little bit longer.
An evening of theater and mystery.
1 minute.
Laughing and gasping. The Great Magician.
I
Murder
created a
Mystery
monster
Dinner
with
Yeah.
it.
Saturday, February 10th. For more info, visit ourtownstate.com.
There you go. Do that.
Chi-Town Transit Authority is coming to Coon Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd.
We ready to go?
8-piece Chicago tribute band, horn and woodwind sections included. Chi-Town Transit Authority. Kane
Chloe,
Center
we
for
got
the
30
Arts,
seconds.
Saturday,
Let's
February
light this
3rd.
thing up.
CaneArts.org.
Okay.
That's CAIN-arts.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in all of North Carolina. Welcome to Local Biz Now. This is WSIC 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Bagnone, and this is where your business matters. Okay, settle in, sit back, relax. I'm getting ready to welcome, for the first time on Local Biz Now, one of the most delightful, delicious, dazzling, dynamite, determined, and darling of a woman, and anything else that starts with a D, the Renaissance woman of our time, Cloe Luv. Chloe, thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So, Chloe, I went to your website and I wanted to kind of get an idea what Chloe does. And it's like never ending. You understand, right? So she's a CEO, she's an influencer, she's an entrepreneur, she's a mompreneur. I'm sure that's a word you tagged. Talent manager, music executive, best-selling author, successful consultant, motivated speaker. You just do it all. So when I read Renaissance Woman, I'm like, yeah, that sure is her. Thank you for being here. It is such a pleasure. I couldn't help but think you were this wonderful person based on your website, because I could tell you're just a fun, dynamic person. Do I have that right? Because it sure does seem that way. And when I looked at your website.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like success should be fun. It shouldn't be stiff, right? We shouldn't be drinking tea with our pinkies out, but it should be jovial, and it should feel good.
So, we've never met.
Yes,
But
no,
you know,
yeah.
I love you. I'm just telling you right now. You just, you know how sometimes there's just love at first sight.
Absolutely.
She got me, Chuck. She got me.
And what was her last name?
Chloe Luv. So, walk me through your history, because you really have done a bunch of stuff. So now you don't got to go back to 1963, but kind of walk me through your life's history.
Sure. So I started my entrepreneurship journey at the age of 23, opening a process serving company part-time. And I dabbled with that for a bit. I knew since I was a young girl that I wanted to have a bigger than life career, and I wanted to be impactful. So I kind of started off in my 20s trying to find my footing. By 27, actually 26, I had opened up a recording studio. I was the first and the youngest woman to open up a notable recording studio without a record label or a major label backing. My studio has done everything from having HBO shoot there, Simple Mobile. And one of my favorite moments was the A&E documentary for the Notorious B.I.G. Part of it was shot at my studio. So it became a staple in music from the city that I'm from, Brooklyn, New York, in which I love and hold dear to my heart, my city.
You a Brooklyn girl, right? I mean, through
I'm
and
a
through.
Brooklynite.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. I'm a Brooklynite. And the name of the production company is Brookbrovaz. It stands for Brooklyn Brothers. So that was my first journey. And what happened was people kept asking me, like, how were you able to do this? I don't come from a rich family, first generation American from my mom's side. So I started to give people advice on the things that I learned, business credit, cash flow. I taught these things to my artists and people that were signed to me, checking their credit, things that labels didn't do, because I saw so many people fall from grace in the entertainment industry, especially the music industry. I implemented in my label. It just honestly, I didn't think I would be in this situation where I would be a success consultant or a coach, a business coach. The people basically asked me to assume the position.
Right.
And I just listened. People kept coming to me. I kept helping. I was helping for free. And my husband was like, we're not going to do that now. We're not going to continue
because
helping
you
for
just
free.
genuinely
Because
wanted to
again,
help. Yeah.
yeah, again, I didn't take it as a career at that moment, but then I had to actually open up a separate office in the same building my music production company was in, and I started my first consultant firm that did very well and that I was very proud of. And I went back to school and got a second master's degree
So is your
in.
consulting mainly entertainment related people?
At this point, it was open to everyone
Your
who
husband
wanted
said, "Take
to.
them all."
Yeah, because everyone was just asking me, how do I get, business credit? How do I do a business plan? How do I incorporate? Like, what are those things? Those foundational things are the same across the board. And how do I do that? So I was able to help a lot of people do that and like learn what their business goals were, implement a plan, and then show them how to leverage business credit to now fund that. And then after 8 years, we ended up closing that space because the culture of the environment no longer served the vision. And I ended up opening Chloe's Corner. That was a co-working and event space by the Barclays Center in
So
Brooklyn.
so let's spend a little time on this because I did a little research on that, and I wasn't clear on exactly what it is Chloe's Corner did. Right.
Okay.
So walk me through that.
Okay, so for full transparency, when I opened it, I wasn't fully clear either. I just knew I needed to create a space to bring people together that served the same purpose or had like minds. So uh, Joel Gargiulo from the Today Show coined "Everyone needs a Chloe in their corner." When I opened Chloe's Corner, and it became that. It became a community space for entrepreneurs, business people, CEOs who had me in their corner, a co-working space. But also, I'm not the person who believes in like self-made. I believe the people who impact you that you have in your corner is how you show up. So Chloe's Corner has a double meaning to it. It's not just about me being in your corner and having me in your corner, but it's the people in my corner on that help me position myself to show up for community the way that I do. So when you see me, you see the tribe of people who've come together to push me and encourage me and inspire me to now be able to be in your corner. So that's what the space stood for. And then it just grew into so much more. It became the home of the Bloomberg campaign when he ran for the presidential elect. And I did an interview for one of the news channels on why I still supported him as an African American woman after stop and frisk. And I spoke sincerely from my heart on why I still supported him. And then I was approached by his PR team, and from there it went into a situation where I spoke on the behalf of why as speaking talent. And unfortunately, we know that he ended up uh, dropping out of the race, but for the time that he did, it was an amazing experience. The space was the home to his campaign in New York. It was the only space that I know of that was in New York, was by the Barclays Center. And again, we had FX shoot there. We've had Netflix shows shoot there. Power, which is one of my favorite shows on Showtime, used it as their production place. It just grew into more than what I could have imagined. It was a space that everyone came to get what they needed from it. And it felt good to be able to have a space that people were able to get what they needed from it. We did events, and it was also home to my nonprofit, Women with Voices.
So let's talk a little bit about that as well, because tell me about that nonprofit.
So, Women with Voices is a faction of my 501c3 Brookbrovaz Development. And we focus on women's empowerment in different areas. Mine is business and technology. But Jordan Emanuel, who was the last Playmate of the Year, she was the first Black woman to be turned from Bunny to Playmate of the Year. She's my co-founder. She's also one of my one of the talent that I manage, one of the brands that I manage. Hers is sexual liberation and mental health awareness. Chelsea Nicholas, hers is immigration. Tamika Gale, hers is family. So she runs all of the back to school, the Christmas drives, the anything that has to do with the implementation of supporting family is Tamika. And my husband is also on the board, and he runs the Empower Her initiative that teaches men how to fully empower women without feeling emasculated. So our motto is pro us doesn't mean anti you. So we also do an annual award ceremony where we honor men who play a key role in community and in women's empowerment, because we do want to bridge that gap of women's empowerment doesn't mean anti-male. And that's the culture of our nonprofit.
So after Chloe's Corner, then is that when it became your primary business was just coaching? Walk me through what was next.
So I'm going to be completely transparent and vulnerable with you guys. After having that be my third space and closing that space after the pandemic, I went through a place of kind of not knowing the value of my brand. And I know now it's because I affiliated my brand's value with the spaces that I opened instead of the space that I keep for entrepreneurs. And I had to go through that journey of closing these spaces, but also having the success that I did in it to get to where I am now. So now pushing forth that value and understanding what I have to offer, I do focus on that now. That is it.
And it's funny that you say that, because Chloe's Corner is in you today. As I was reading your background, I did not think you needed the space to do what it is you do. So I get it. I understand. Let's take a break. When we come back, you do some keynote speaking. I want to talk about that, and we're going to dig into some of your specialties like branding, because so many of us small business people have a really hard time sort of branding ourselves. And our small company. You are listening to Local Biz Now. We are talking with the spectacular Cloe Luv, Renaissance woman. If it's Monday afternoon, your business matters. We'll be right back.
Keep it right here. Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone will return
Chloe.
after this short break on 105.9, 100.7
Yes.
WSIC. Local
Can I
starts
hear
here.
her and not hear that?
Well, after a
Is that
chilly
possible?
weekend, we're finally going to turn the page into a new.
Got you there, babe?
Yes.
You are spectacular.
Thank you.
So I want to talk about your keynote. Can she see this?
Yes.
I want to talk about these things. Okay.
Okay.
Then I want to talk about some of your topics, some of the things you like to talk about. What do you want me to ask you?
Good question. So I have a master class that's coming up, a few master classes that's coming up to inform people about those topics and the need for them in their businesses. I have a few boot camps that's coming up. So just basically where people can get this information, where they
Okay.
can follow me, because I'll be announcing a lot of this stuff tomorrow.
Okay.
Great timing.
Oh, we on the top edge, are we? Well, that's
Yeah.
lucky for you, because we had a cancellation, which is why we asked you to be here
It works
today.
out
So
all
that
the
worked
time
out
the
well.
way it's supposed to.
So when you feel like it's right, Chuck, you can bring up those two things. Talk about her
Masterclass and boot camps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chloe, tell me about your family.
So I have 3 kids.
Okay.
1 girl and 2 boys. And my husband is actually signed to me. He's one of my talent, my producers and artists. And I'm a mama's girl, even though I'm also a daddy's girl. I'm very big on my parents. I'm still very spoiled. I have a little sister who's like my daughter. Uh, just very close to my family.
And is all your family in Brooklyn?
Yeah, we're all in the same dwelling in the same house.
Okay.
So we have a multi-family house. Me and the kids are in the 4-bedroom duplex. My mom is in the 2-bedroom flat. This is my basement that I turned into a content creation studio and a office.
I bet it's a lively household.
It is very lively, especially with the 3-year-old.
That's an understatement.
It is
Wide
very
open
lively.
is what that is. Okay. So our blocks are 15-minute blocks. So we've got another 15 minutes, which will actually be about 12 minutes or so. And then we'll have one more break, and then we'll have another 12 minutes or so. Okay?
Okay.
Don't break anything.
I'm not going to promise that. 1 minute. Hey, Wilton, you want to fire up burners?
Sure, they're properly secured. So far, Alaska Air says it's found no issues on the older planes, and the inspections are not delaying flights. Shares of Boeing down just a fraction today, while elsewhere on Wall Street, more gains for the major averages, adding to Friday's record closing highs for the Dow and the broader S&P 500 index. The Dow closed higher by 138 points, or better than 1/3 of a percentage point. The NASDAQ also gained about 1/3%, or 49 points. And the S&P 500 gained 0.2% in Monday trading, a 10-point gain. I'm Scott Carr, Bloomberg Radio.
Call now to speak with Joe Bagnone at 844-STUDIO-4. It's Local Biz Now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business radio show in North Carolina. This is Local Biz Now. This is a place we hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do at News Talk WSIC. And if it is Monday afternoon, say it, Chuck, say it.
Your business matters.
Yeah, but we got to work on that, man. You got to do it with a little bit of attitude.
I can do
Your
that.
business matters. You got a little attitude, man. Come on. This is your 3rd week.
Your business matters.
There you go. Hey, before we get started with our guest, why don't you fire it up, Wilton?
Ready to ignite your week? I'm Josh Johnson, and I've seen my fair share of sparks as a firefighter. But the kind of sparks I'm talking about at Burner Cigar are all about flavor and enjoyment. Don't miss our pick of the week. Your taste buds will thank you.
Thanks, Wilton. I appreciate that. Burner Cigar has been a sponsor for going to be for the entire year. Please go by there and help yourself to some of the selection of finest premium cigars that they have. If you tell them you heard it on WSIC or that Joe sent you, they will give you your first cigar for free. That's right. I'm buying your first cigar. Go buy Burner's cigar in Brookdale Village. They would be more than happy to have you. Okay, so now here we go. Are you ready?
Ready.
Take it. 3, 2, 1. We are talking with the most spectacular woman we have had on Local Biz Now in years. Her name is Cloe Luv. She is a Renaissance woman, and the list of accomplishments that she has had is long and distinguished, but the best tagline I can give you for her is, everyone needs a Cloe in their corner. Miss Luv, thank you so much for being here. You are everything I thought you would be. We hadn't met until this show, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you for having me.
So, your life is full of these experiences, right? If I were to say they were intentional, is that fair statement from you? In other words, you chose these directions you wanted to go, or did you find yourself just waking up on a Tuesday saying, I think I'm going to try that?
So I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe in learning the lessons through the journey. I also believe in astrology. I study astrology. So there are things that align in my astrological chart as well as my human design that showcases what my journey would look like and where there are certain favors. So I believe in both.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Are you trying to tell me you knew you were going to meet me? Do you
I
really think you were going to meet a Joe?
absolutely, absolutely.
Because one of the things I tell people when I first hire people is, you will remember the day that you met Joe Vagnon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope to come back.
That's right,
Absolutely.
Chloe. I'm gonna add you to the list. You will
Okay.
remember the day you met Joe Vagnon. It's in the stars, Chuck. It's in the stars.
It's in the stars, exactly.
Okay, so there's some keynote talks that you have, and I kind of want you to go over what they are because they seem interesting to me, right? And intriguing because not only, and I don't know you, but
Yes.
when I read them, I could tell this is coming from the heart and real experience. I could just tell that, right? You're a genuine woman with a genuine story. So, let's talk about the first keynote. You call them a keynote or fireside chat topics that you like to talk about. And the first one is a mindset versus a perspective. Talk just a little bit about that.
So in one of my boot camps, I go in deep about this because when people teach mindset across the board, they teach manifestation, affirmations, which are a part of it. But our eyes are blind, correct? We don't see with our eyes. Our eyes take pictures and sends it back to our brain. Our brain tells our eyes what it's seeing. So your mindset will dictate your perspective. And when you understand that, why it's important to cultivate a certain mindset, because your perspective will dictate your choices, then we can start to formulate and forge the mindset that needs to be. Once we understand that our eyes are blind, our brain is telling our eyes what it's seeing. And if our mind isn't in the state that it needs to be in, our perspective will always be compromised.
So I'm curious. Do you see yourself, or let me put it this way, the buyer profile, the client's profile that comes to you looking for help, are they looking for you and say, Chloe, make me some money, help me make money? Or they come to you saying, help my life become more balanced or better or not so chaotic? What direction are they looking for you to help them with?
So most people come for what they want, which is money, right? They know that I can help them get to success. They want to find the funding. They want to launch the dream business. But what I teach, so I give you what you want, but I also give you what you need, right? So if you're not coachable, if you're not teachable, then you're not for me. Because I have a saying that uh, obtaining is easy. It's hard. It's easy to get things, but maintaining is hard. And that's why we see so many fall from grace. So these are things that I do still implement in my coaching when it comes to getting to the money. How are you going to not just obtain, but maintain? And these are the things that have to be put in place, that have to be addressed. Because let me tell you, if your personal isn't together, your business will suffer.
Interesting.
Chloe, with regard to success, I mean, when you look at your clients you have, how did they go about defining success? What's that look like?
A lot of people start with money. A lot of people just start with their sales.
They want
That's
Chloe to
how
make it rain.
yeah. A lot of people start with money. I've had a production company that hit 7 figures for the last 3 to 4 years after working with them. I've had many clients that hit multiple 6 figures, and I'm in a shifting point in my career because I spoke mainly about my successes, what I can do for you, how I can make you successful, but I didn't really speak about my journey as much. And that's why my keynotes are the way they are, because a big part of my journey was that I wasn't practicing self-care. I was obsessed with work. I recently lost a lot of weight because I had 2 surgeries in 90 days. I was on high blood pressure medication, and that's not success, right? So I coach differently now because I'm no longer in the spaces of running spaces. I'm in the space of making a holistic wealth and a fully successful space for the next line of leaders and thought leaders and entrepreneurs and CEOs. So I do implement those things, and I do tell my story a lot more transparent now because I want people to understand what it really takes to be successful. You can't be successful. We've seen so many people that we love. I feel like Steve Jobs' story always hits me hard. When he said that if he could have given back all that money to elongate his life, that was so impactful because it goes to tell the value of success and what we're weighing success on. So I do it a little more balanced where if success for you is living in a log cabin, a 2-bedroom log cabin and fishing every day, then your income doesn't need to be the same as the next person, but you can still balance a good life. You can still balance showing up and having financial freedom, a social life, a spiritual evolution, if you will. So success is different for everyone, but we got to get to what that really looks like for you. And that's not always just a dollar amount.
So getting to know them at the beginning will determine exactly how and what you're going to help them do.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to help you get to the money. That's a fact. That's just what it is. But again, not just obtaining it. How are you going to maintain it coming in with also without it burning you out, without compromising your health or your happiness? That's the holistic plan.
So when you're looking at, say, clients like small business owners, somebody coming as an entrepreneur, somebody that's young, that's not had that life experience, how do you go about coaching them differently than you would someone that has had that experience where they have gone through burnout? Because I see a lot of entrepreneurs today that are in their 20s and particularly mid 20s to early 30s. They've got this big dream. They just don't know what life is about to throw at them. So how do you go about coaching them?
So I coach transparently. I let them know it's not an easy task, but it's not a hard task. And it'll be a lot easier because I'm guiding you. You're the hero in the story, but I'm the guide to help you through there. And I sit with them and I figure out what the goal is, and we reverse engineer the steps on how we're going to do it, when we're going to release, the most effective and efficient ways and the easiest ways to do it. You know, we're taught that hard work is what pays off, but smart work is what pays off.
So, Chloe, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll keep talking some more. You are listening to, hearing spectacular words of wisdom from Cloe Luv, Renaissance woman, the most spectacular woman we've had on Local Biz Now in 147 years. What you laughing at, Chuck? If it's Monday afternoon, your business matters. We'll be right back.
Keep it right here. Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone.
Chloe, I love that you're using your own personal journey and not just the highs, but also the challenges along the way. I think that speaks so powerfully to people.
Thank you. I'm actually writing a book, The 10 Success Commandments. I'm not done. But that's the 10th commandment. Thou shalt tell thy story, because it's not for you, it's for someone else that needs it. So I live by those the rules that I'm putting out.
You know, I think that's why I'm in love with you, darling. Because I can tell through your website that is exactly what you're trying to do and teach others to do that same thing.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned you're are you first generation or your mom first generation to the U.S.?
I'm first generation by way of my mom. My dad's family is born and raised in America.
Okay. So outside of America, where did this family go back to?
Where doesn't it go back to? Mainly St. Vincent,
okay.
Which is still under British rule.
Sure.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Okay.
But I have family from Grenada, Jamaica, Trinidad, a lot of family in Trinidad.
Okay.
It's a lot of the islands.
It's a great life.
It is. It is. I visited a few islands this 2023, and I have a few more to visit this year.
I've got some friends from Jamaica, and he says, Joe, there are more people living in the States from Jamaica than there are people in Jamaica. He said,
Absolutely. Agreed. Especially in Brooklyn. Especially in Brooklyn.
Okay, so we're going to be back on our last. Now, our last break is we're done with them. So the end of the show is a hard break. Okay, so when I take it back, it is it's over, and Wilton won't give me any space to expand that at all. He's cold-hearted.
30 seconds, guys.
Cold-hearted, I tell you.
Sorry.
Sales and everything in between, visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
It's Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Local Biz Now, where your business matters. #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. This is WSIC 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Vagnone, and your business matters. And I'm here with Chuck Cooper. Chuck is the founder of Whitewater Consulting and is my co-host for the entire month. Chuck, thank you for being here, buddy.
Thank you.
And I think you will agree with me, Chuck. We are speaking with the most dynamic, delightful, delicious, darling, anything that starts with a D woman I have ever met on this show, Cloe Luv. Cloe, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's keep going on this journey with you through your website, right? Because we talked about it off the air. You are so genuine. Everything you do simply comes out in what it is you're doing. I could tell that, right? I fell in love with you before I ever met you, you understand. And so the next thing on your keynote / fireside chats that you like to talk about, you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. Sounds to me like we're going to talk about racism. I find it hard to believe a woman like you had to deal with these kind of challenges. What's it all about?
So it's colorism in a lot of the Black communities, coming from more of the slave times and the slave mentality. If you are darker than a paper bag, you weren't as valued as much in community. So growing up, that was a term that I heard a lot. You're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. And my mom, who is lighter than me, heard it and, told the person off that day. And I didn't understand that.
Your mama was defending you.
She was not. Yeah, but the fact is that I didn't even understand that I needed defending.
Right.
I didn't see it as not a compliment because it had become such the norm of accepting that comment as if it was still a compliment. And it was something that I went through throughout my life. And literally, it came to a turning point where one of the positions I was in, my director heard an older gentleman in his 70s say it to me. And he told him, you should be shamed on yourself because you're a part of the problem. But what he expressed was that he was taught that you wouldn't find beauty in dark skin. And I changed that for him. So he was saying it in a way that not in despite of, but I didn't expect to find that here. So again, perspective is, a big thing when it comes to communication and understanding.
And, Chuck and I had a detailed conversation on this. His background's HR, and, racism seems to be something that we can't get rid of, right? It's in all of us in some way, in some capacity. Absolutely. And if you won't accept it, you cannot get started on trying to work through it and overlook that, right? And so I guess that's where you were going to go with this, but I wasn't sure about that. It's sort of disappointing for a guy like me to see somebody like you have to go through that. because it's clear to me that you're a sharp, intelligent, dynamic woman that you would want to embrace, right? And
Yes,
and
thank you.
even that woman would still go through these challenges of racism in this day and age. It's quite surprising.
Yeah, it's very common, to be honest. It's just old teachings that have been passed down and embedded in us. There's so many instances that I go through in my keynote and in my fireside chat, and what happened in that moment, what it cultivated in me that I didn't recognize or I didn't realize at first.
So the last keynote in Fireside that I have here says red lipstick, a blonde wig, and Bloomberg. I got no
Absolutely.
idea. You know, I was trying to anticipate each one of these. I got nothing for that one. So
I love that.
where are we gonna go with that? I got nothing for you.
I love that one because that's the wrap up story of my life.
Right.
So, being a dark skinned woman, you're told that two things aren't for you, and that's red lipstick and blonde hair. So,
I didn't know that, but okay.
yeah. So, the moment that I decided my peaceful protest, I did a photo shoot. I should have sent you guys the picture with this blonde bob, red nail, red lipstick. And that was my moment of showing up that I'm comfortable in my skin and that, yes, it is for me too. So that was the first step of basically addressing those insecurities and those fears and recognizing that what people think of you is not your business, honestly. That's their business. And it shouldn't play an impact on how you show up. So these insecurities, I cultivated fear that kept me stagnant, right? Because I didn't understand my value, and which is why I hid behind spaces, opening up these businesses and utilizing them as my value. But now I'm standing here, tomorrow I may have on that blonde wig and that red lipstick, and I'll be just as confident. And I hunt fear now. I talk about hunting fear in one of my fireside. That's a part of my boot camp too, because I think sometimes we run away from fear and we don't want to feel it instead of normalizing it. Normalize that you're going to feel fear. It means you're alive. It's a tactic of survival.
I mean, we all get uncomfortable. I mean, that's
yeah, absolutely. But people allow that to keep them stagnant instead of embracing it, addressing it, and then moving through it. What did you learn from
Okay,
it?
but stay with me now, okay? You the expert here, okay? You're the expert in branding. I want everybody to think Joe's the man, right? That's what I want, right?
Yes.
But I can't. If everybody's telling me I can't wear blonde hair and red lipstick, then I can't, even if I want to, because then they won't think I'm the man. You see the divergence challenge I have? Walk me through that.
Yes. And that's such a great point, because the reason why authentic branding is important is because it attracts who's really for you. So those who think that you won't be the man in despite of how you authentically want to show up, they're not really your tribe. So the quicker you show up authentic is the quicker that those who will be diehard fans, those who would be almost cult-like, will show up and become your diehard tribe.
Ah, gotcha.
So important. I think that's great. That's great counsel and great advice.
Gotcha. So, Chloe, you talked a couple of times during the show about some.
So, with regard to your master classes and your boot camps,
That's what it was. I could.
Yeah.
My mind wouldn't say those words. Thank you, Chuck.
So I'm going to be announcing my master classes tomorrow. I'll be having 2 a month, and 2 next month, and one will be the 5 pillars of business success, and the other one will be forging a $1 million CEO mindset. So you can follow me on Instagram at Cloe Luv, CLOELUV, or check out my website, CloeLuv.com, same spelling. I'm Cloe Luv everywhere you can look. LinkedIn, Facebook, consistent branding across the board. And I'll be making all these announcements and where you can sign up for these free mastermind classes.
And Julie, because Chloe, everybody needs a Julie. My Julie has got your website on our Facebook right now on WSIC Facebook as well. So we've plugged you, and I encourage you, go to CloeLuv.com. It is a remarkable, I'm going to call it a journey of this expression of what possibilities, right? You know,
Yeah.
I really, it reminded me of a movie, some woman, oh, what was her name? It was a holiday that she was going to take herself on because she thought she was going to die. Queen Latifah. And she had her book of
Yeah.
possibilities, right?
Yes,
And so,
yes.
so your website reminded me of that, right? Not only
Mm.
what you want to do, but what you have done. And so I
Yes.
encourage people to go there to do that.
Thank
We've
you.
only got a couple of minutes. What advice would you give somebody thinking about starting a business in this just really uncertain time right now? What advice would you give them?
First advice is when there are levels to business. So when you come in as an entrepreneur, you want to build your personal brand as well as your business brand. You have to know the value in what you bring as well as what the product or the service brings. So the branding of you is just as important as the branding of your business. You start as an entrepreneur, but to have a successful business, you're going to have to graduate to a CEO. An entrepreneur is, kind of the one man in the house type show, but a CEO is running a business with staff and a expandable enterprise. And the last thing that I'm going to tell you is you're going to face fear. Don't allow it to keep you stagnant. Address it. Hey, fear, I knew you were coming. What you got to say today? Well, thank you for dropping that off. You can visit, but you can't stay here. Address it, speak to it like it's a person, and allow it to move its course, and you move on your course.
So we've only got about a minute or so left. What do you say to your husband and your family that have come along with you on this journey? Because I know enough of business to know that they have felt your pains and your challenges as you keep reinventing yourself.
I feel like it's more what they say to me. They're constantly pouring into me. Uh, like my mom was always used to say, watch out, Oprah. And I'm like, why do you say that? It doesn't have to be either one of us, And she's been saying that since I was little. And I'm like,
I love that. I love that.
yeah, but I love Oprah Winfrey and what she's done. And I love these people. I don't want to be the next Oprah. I want to be the biggest Chloe Luv.
Right, right. And their support it seems to be obvious to me, right, that they have handed you their support. It is
Absolutely.
clear. You know that whatever move you make.
My mom, my husband, my sister, my fairy godmothers, my kids' godmothers, they show up in a way to show the importance of community and having the right people around you.
Thank you so much, Chloe. You are listening to Cloe Luv, the Renaissance woman, the most spectacular woman you will meet. I encourage you to go to her website, CloeLuv.com. Chloe, thank you. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business matters. And we'll see you next week.
The new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.